The protest movement that grew in outrage over the murder of George Floyd, an African-American man who died under the knee of a police officer in Minneapolis, has been felt across the globe. It resonates in Africa, where it not only unleashed protests and a show of solidarity with U.S. marches, but also debate on issues at home, including police brutality, income and class inequalities, and the bitter legacy of colonialism.
The message was basically that it is one struggle. It manifests itself differently, but it is one struggle. It's a global struggle, and we all need to be talking about it because we all need reform. Every system does need reform.
Demonstrations were staged in Senegal, where people were holding signs that read, "Trop c'est trop," or "Enough is enough." In Nigeria, the killing of a teenager in Lagos by police enforcing a curfew prompted outrage. In South Africa, protesters and political leaders wore black T-shirts emblazoned with the last words uttered by Floyd. In Kenya, protesters gathered outside the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, holding signs and chanting, "Black Lives Matter," and "Silence is violence." As in many African nations, excessive force by police is an issue in Kenya. According to a report by the Daily Nation, 101 people were killed by police in Nairobi during a particularly bloody 9-month stretch in 2018.
I send all my prayers to every single family, every single person that has lost someone to police brutality, to extrajudicial killings, to enforced disappearances, because these have happened here as well. But I think the pursuit for social justice is relentless, and it doesn't end because the issues that affect our system are so deeply ingrained, and we need to begin to dismantle them one by one, one by one.
There are many connections between social justice movements in the U.S. and in Africa. On June 25th, Congresswoman Karen Bass, the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, celebrated the passage of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. She said she hopes it inspires a similar change on the African continent.
I think that they can take how important it is to have mass movements, because we moved within 30 days to do this piece of legislation. Literally, it was 30 days after the murder of George Floyd. And our legislative body can take 30 years. We can take 30 years or 30 days. But because of the social pressure, we had to move quickly, and that's why we were able to get it done last night. The protesters, we need them to continue protesting. Of course, we want it to be peaceful, but I will tell you that it was their victory.
For some, the movement has brought back painful memories, but also inspired hope. In 1999, police officers shot 41 bullets at Guinean immigrant Amadou Diallo outside his apartment building in the Bronx, New York. He was holding only his wallet, which police say they mistook for a weapon. Today, his mother says she believes her son's death played a role in advancing social justice.
It's not just US, it's also Africa, it's Europe, it's everyone, Australia, everywhere people are marching, protesting in Asia and demanding changes. I believe my son opened the door then, 21 years ago, because that was a conversation without any social media platform then. But the media was really telling about this incident around the world. People were watching, protesting, reading about it. The difference today is because we have social media. And also the difference today is because so many incidents has happened and people have had enough.
In the U.S., police officers are speaking out against abusive tactics like the ones used against Floyd. They say unnecessary violence by an officer is a stain on the entire profession, and they want it to stop.
I'll speak for myself. That is not why I became a law enforcement officer. I don't represent the officers that exhibited tactics that are not part of our training. I don't believe that a lot of things that were done correctly, and I'm appalled by that as law enforcement. Wearing this badge, wearing this uniform, I stand to protect, I stand to serve our community. I'm there for them if they need us.
From Minneapolis to Dakar, from Nairobi to Lagos and beyond, the impact of George Floyd's death and the Black Lives Matter movement it amplified continues to be felt. Activists in African countries believe the last chapter of this story is yet to be written. Salem Solomon, VOA News, Washington.